Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us, 865-658-5824. Join alongside Emilio, Tennessee. We got Tim in Green Bay, Wisconsin, boots on the ground. Cold ground, I'm sure, up there in the brisk Northwest.
I like the live shot of Lambeau. That's perfect.
Yeah.
What it's like right now.
What it feels like.
Yeah, pretty much.
There you go. Yeah, we warmed up a little bit today. I gotta tip my cap to Emilio. He got out there and worked in it today, and I just stayed in the house. You know what I mean?
I had to double back home. I needed my bibs. I can't even believe I left home without them. But I was just standing there all day moving the joystick. You know,
yeah.
Felt like Kellen Moore out there, just joysticking it.
Love it. All right, let's do this, man. We got a lot of stuff to cover. We're going to check on the Patreon group. They had a few questions, a few comments in there, and also some stuff on Twitter. We'll try to bounce around and do this in a normal order, but I thought this was funny. You guys know Ben Johnson. He'd been making his rounds. I'm sure you heard what he had to say about Matt LaFleur today, but if you didn't, I just want to point out, I said, name the last great head coach that disrespected his upcoming opponents like this. I'll wait. All right. Tell me what you guys think about this.
Season ends here. And to be quite frank with you, I kind of enjoyed beating Matt LaFleur twice a year.
Oh, my God.
Season ends here.
Tim said, oh, my God. Hey, put it on the bulletin board, boys. I love it. I'm telling you, when I seen that, I perked up because, like I said in the tweet, just when you think, man, the Bears may have finally figured this thing out, you know, hiring a good coach, this guy, pardon my language, but he's a dipshit. Like everything he does on camera, he's a little off, right? Am I wrong, or do you guys get the same vibe here?
He's no Tupac LaFleur, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he's just never seen Matt with a couple of darts in his ears and ready to go. That's the problem.
Ready to go.
He saw him hiding behind Dan Campbell talking to the refs all the time, so I'm excited to see how he handles it this next year.
Hey, man,
Seriously,
I'm
Tim,
going to relish in beating this dweeb in his football team.
Yes.
I really am. It's going to be great.
Put it on the bulletin board. Walk in there and go, X, Coop, Gary, come in here. Kenny, everybody come in here. I want you to just watch this real quick. All right, let's go to work. That's it, right? That's what I'm excited about. Angel.
Did you hear Ryan's pod when he was talking? He played a couple of those lines. Just they were laying into him. Like it was like some of the names they gave him were pretty brutal. But yeah, the fact that the Lions fans hate him just as much as we hate the dude, I mean, I'll take it.
Definitely. Angel Sanchez on X. Appreciate you dropping through, man. He says the silence after he said it was the best part. I mean, it was straight cringe. It was like,
get ready to go.
Everybody in the room was like, oh no, what did he just do? What did he just say? So I don't know, man. Again, I got excited about it. I'm looking forward to us kicking their teeth in a couple times a year here.
Hey, we've talked about how good old Matty was aw shucks Matt when he got here, and his first press conference was left a few things to be desired, but my goodness, he was not this terrible.
Right.
He was not this cringe. There was no way.
I'm telling you, the players know this. They see this. You cannot fool a locker room. Like Lombardi talks about it all the time, right, Emilio, on his podcast. You might think you're fooling the locker room, but you're not fooling those guys. They're talking behind your back. They're pointing out, wow, this dude right here, he's a little off. I guarantee it. Now, another tweet that went out by ML Football, wild. He said, new Bears head coach Ben Johnson says that when he was with the Lions, he was more concerned about the Bears. Quote, I personally was more concerned about the Chicago Bears than I was anyone else in the division. Quote, I felt like this place was a sleeping giant, right? Now, we're going to back up.
Yeah, I was thinking that same thing, Tim.
It's funny.
Get ready to go.
We've actually got another tweet here. And tell me if this sounds familiar, guys.
Like me was appealing about playing here. It was one of the things that for somebody like me was appealing about playing here, wanting to play here and coach here. This is a sleeping giant for football. And they, Pistons have had success, Red Wings have had success, but the Lions have never had success. And it was
going into this season, I felt like this place was a sleeping giant. To be honest with you, I personally was more concerned.
I'm telling you, bro, this is going to be great. It's going to be great.
Oh yeah, I cannot believe he's swinging for the.
Sit your butt outside.
But that's what they should have told him after he said that at the presser. But dude gets a bear on his chest, and he thinks he's cooking now. I can't wait.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see him and Ryan Poles cooking together.
Oh my God, it's going to be great, dude. I'm telling you, it's going to be awesome. Grab those recibos while they're fresh, gang. All right, make sure you're getting your screenshots ready and bookmarking these tweets because they will delete just like that. Trust me, it's amazing how they disappear. Mark Ellison had tweeted this out, said playoffs wins since 1992, Packers 24, Vikings 8, Bears 4, Lions 2. That's a wild statistic right there. 24. We have 3 times as many playoff wins than the Vikings, who are closest to us, 6 times more as many playoff wins as the Bears. And what would that be, 12 times?
Yep.
12 times the amount of playoff wins the Lions have.
I love that photo of BJ Raji. That says exactly how I felt the minute I heard who the Bears hired.
Yeah.
Like, that's like me personified right there. Like, meh.
Yeah, that's me personified too. That's what I look like when I step up from the Brazilian steakhouse table. You know what I mean? Heading home for the night, handing Mandy the keys and crawling in the back seat of the Expedition and just napping on the way home, man. That's usually how that rolls. So anyway, let's see here. Everyone take a step back. I'll make this happen. Oh, this is pretty cool right here. Check this out. Notice this on Twitter. Leroy Butler tweeted this out. Did you guys see this? He said, "Nephew at Tay Adams, holler at me," is what he said. I just tweeted. I said, "Unc said, quote, everyone step back. I'll make this happen." Love it. So obviously our boy Leroy Butler out there on the recruiting trail along with Xavier McKinney too. So you guys, how are we feeling about that? You think we got a legit shot to get Tay?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's feeling like it, isn't it? It's kind of different.
Yeah. I think the fact that, beyond the X's and O's, the fact that the fan base is all about it, the organization is open to it, Tay has spoken about it. It's literally a matter of, making the deal work out, or if, in fact, the Packers want to, make a legit offer. But, it also depends on, are the Jets willing to trade him? Because he is under contract. I mean, we have to be serious here. He is a New York Jet as we speak. So, but I do think it's in the realm of possibility. I'm still at 50-50 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that if I would put all my eggs into that basket, if that's the only choice I had, I will say that. So yeah, I would be behind it. I think that it could be, help for J Love and teaching the young wide receivers, all that stuff. I think it has benefits. He's been there before. But yeah, I like that everyone's doing their part in it.
Yeah. And then we had a viewer earlier on Good Morning Lambeau had chimed in and said that Khalil Mack announced he wasn't retiring. So I seen this came down the pike from Adam Schefter. It says 9-time Pro Bowl linebacker Khalil Mack. Obviously, he's an edge rusher listed as a linebacker because he's played predominantly in the 34 defense, who said after the Chargers postseason loss to the Texans that he needed to take some time to mull his future. Will indeed play in the 2025 season per source. Mack's contract is up, and he is scheduled to be an unrestricted free agent. So Khalil Mack will be out there on the trail. I haven't looked at his pressure percentage. We're going to talk pressure percentage and edge rushers and comparing Gary to Crosby here in a minute. Really, really interesting stuff that we uncovered earlier today as we were answering some Patreon questions. But pretty interested in Khalil Mack for 1 or 2 years, to be honest with you. That's another player, like when you talk about needing veteran leadership, you need a little bit more pass rush, right? I mean, there's no one else on the market that's better than Khalil Mack right now. People are propping Max Crosby up like he's better than Mack. PFF disagrees wholeheartedly. Mack has been dominant his entire career. So if you can get him for a year or two, even if he has a little bit of a decline, throw him into that hockey line rotation there with Rashan Gary, LVN, and now Brenton Cox Jr., who actually led the team in pressure percentage. Mm-hmm. I think it can make a big difference. I still want that 3-tech. I need that 3-tech in my life, right? But if you're saying, hey, man, it's Khalil Mack and a rookie 3-tech, sign me up.
Yep.
You know
Yeah.
And you're not really concerned about a guy like that, even though he's a 34 guy, playing in the 43 here, because you're doing, him a service and you're doing yourself a service by asking him to just simply be on that hockey line, part of that rotation, and go out there and just tee off every time, every rep, every snap you get, just go tee off on that quarterback and, play like a menace that you are. And then, if the gas tank gets a little empty, we rotate another guy in just in time. And, this is a team game, a team sport, and you're looking for pieces and you're looking for parts that are going to make you a better football team. And I think you'd be lying to yourself if you think Khalil Mack wouldn't make the Packers a better football team, especially when it comes to the pass rush.
Right.
As Jake Shavink says here in the chat, signing a premier edge rusher, defensive end at age 34. That sounds familiar. I think he's referring to our boy Peppers, right? Julius Peppers.
Sure is.
There's a little bit of precedent there, and I know Goody wasn't the GM, but Goody was obviously studied under Ted Thompson his entire scouting career. So this might be one of those positions that you go, hey, you know what? Let's just go ahead and pull the trigger on that, right?
And it could be because they gave themselves enough reps, getting rid of Preston, getting enough reps to the young guys, saying, all right, are they ready to take over on this 4-3 we're trying to run? If not, hey, let's know that by the time we go into the offseason and see what's out there.
Yep. Could be, for sure. All right, moving along to a little coaching news here. Let's see. Matt Schneiden tweeted out the Packers are interviewing Casey Rogers today for their vacant defensive line coaching job. At Rap Sheet was first to report his candidacy. Rogers is the Bucs defensive line coach and run game coordinator. Tampa Bay ranked 4th in the NFL in rushing yards allowed per game. So it's obvious if you go after somebody like that, you're looking to improve the pass rush, but you don't want to do it at the expense of having that run defense slide backwards, which we were all pleasantly surprised under Hafley. That was the big thing where we were like, the way the media is talking about this one gap approach, man, you're going to be sacrificing in the run a little bit and probably giving up more explosives in the run game, but you're going to get a lot more pressure. Hafley came in here and did totally the opposite. Played a lot of touch spy, played a lot of run stunt, and hey, look, let's play it safe, stop the run first and foremost. So this guy, I think, will be a good fit as well. Every one of these candidates that they keep mentioning, along with, like Tim said, Ogabasi, the only reason I would hesitate on hiring or on promoting Ogabasi to just the primary defensive line coach is you've already got him in-house, right? Like we got him anyway. Why not add someone else to come in and help, right? I don't think you can have too many coaches. That's just my opinion. But.
No, especially good ones. And I mean, most of these guys have a background, a history. They haven't been coaching for just 2 years, right? They've been doing it 5-10 years. Been up. I think most of them have been up to D coordinator at some point, and then kind of just finding their groove, at their D line spot or where else. But I do think that you get in here, you bring a dog ready to go, bring some new energy, new life, and just try to get this front four absolutely cooking. If you need to bring in Mac to do that, we can't pull the trigger on a free agent until we bring in that D-line coach. And he's saying, like Clayton always says, when you come into that interview, what are you going to do with what you've seen? What you've watched the tape on us, what we look like. Who do you like? Who do you have your eye on? That's where I think, we need to get to.
Yeah, you got to lay out the game plan, right? And then
right.
As soon as you get the job, it's go watch the tape on every single person you're going to be coaching and get back to Matt LaFleur as soon as possible with, hey, like this guy, this guy not so much. Here's where we need a little help, in my opinion.
Right.
Blake Bean says, defensive line interviews. Help me out here, Tim. I know you got this keyed up for me.
What? Get ready. Oh, I thought we were all tired of this already.
I'm not tired. I'll never be tired of it, this awkward ass human being that just got hired by the Chicago Bears.
Get ready to go.
D-line interviews, get ready to go.
Get ready to go.
All right, there you go. I know there are some people that are tired of it. You're right, Tim. We did get some.
Well, this one's for them then.
Get ready to go.
One more for the road right there. All right, we're going to hit on that, and we'll save this one right here. So we're going to switch up and go over to the Patreon group. Anything else you want to add before we switch into talking a little bit of Patreon questions here, fellas?
Didn't Jets took Mike Green, right? You guys hit that? The Jets hired the Aaron Glenn.
Yes, they did. That's right. 5-year deal. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So that's done. And I think they said the Lions will get a 3rd-round pick for him, I believe, possibly a comp pick. Because I think that has to do with the minority hire, I believe. I could be wrong there.
Sure.
I know San Francisco had extra 3rd-round picks every single year because they were just turning out great coaches like D'Amico Ryans, and obviously they were taking advantage of that new rule that was put in place. But, so let's go to the Patreon group here. And Greg S. had posted this chart, and Greg had already responded. Listen, you got to be careful with some of the numbers, right? And this happens to me all the time. This is not a knock on Greg, but he just pointed out this chart, and it's going to be hard for you guys to see. But It basically what you got is on the left side, you've got the average salary per year running vertically, okay? And then you've got the amount of pressures running to the right. And you'll notice where Rashan Gary is, he's sitting over here, he's obviously in the upper third in terms of the amount of money he's making, right? But you'll notice they got his pressures at somewhere around like, I don't know, probably 28, right? On that chart at the bottom. So I immediately was like, dang, that doesn't, what are we even talking about here, right? So I went back and double checked everything. Notice Max Crosby is sitting at about 43 on this chart, okay? And as you go through and look at it, what I did was I did a little background check on it. We'll come back to these other comments here in a minute. And I said those pressure numbers are wrong above. Gary had 52 pressures with a 13.4% rate. And I was like, I wonder where Max Crosby's at. Let's kind of compare, because Max Crosby's one of those names that everybody's talking about all offseason, right? Max Crosby actually had 53 with a 12.3% pressure rate. So Rashan Gary had a higher pressure percentage rate there than Max Crosby. And so Rashan Gary had a 1.1% higher rate than Crosby in that regard. So I'm going to drop this down. We'll come back to the Patreon in a second. Let me go back to this tweet that we have. So I went through and combed through all the stats and kind of done a little comp between Gary and our boy Max Crosby. Check this out, guys. I was pleasantly surprised by this. I said, fun fact, Rashan Gary finished the season with a higher pressure rate of 13.4% than Max Crosby at 12.3%. They both finished with 7.5 sacks, even with Max Crosby having 43 more pass rush snaps at 432 than Rashan Gary had at 389. Rashan also had a higher run stop rate of 18% versus Max Crosby's 14%. And this is all according to Next Gen Stats, GPS tracking on NFL Pro. And you guys know, I've said this 1,000 times, I'll continue to say it. The reason I choose this over some of these ESPN analytics and especially PFF, the beautiful thing about NFL Pro, if we were on the site right now, we could go to every one of these pressures and watch them. We could go to every one of these stops and watch every single snap, right? And you can make it, determine for yourself, all right, is that an accurate statistic? But there you go with that. And then there's Max Crosby's as well. And, some people are like, well, he's hurt, Okay, Rashan Gary played fewer snaps. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he played far fewer snaps, especially pass rush wise, having, 43 less pass rush snaps, and still had the same amount of sacks as Max Crosby. And then the argument immediately shifts to, well, Max was playing hurt this year. Okay, gotcha. Now, you remember earlier in the year, we pointed out, damn, LVN, Rashan Gary, Brenton Cox Jr. all have a higher pressure rate than TJ Watt. Guess what? Well, he's hurt this year. How many excuses are we going to make for everybody other than Rashan Gary? I need to know. I got to know what rules we're playing by here. It's absolutely hilarious to me. Rashan Gary.
People don't like him because he's a Michigan guy, I don't know. I think so. It must be, right? Like, what else explains it? I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Then I saw a clip. I was scrolling through. I saw a clip of him making that stuff against the 49ers. What, in 19? Yeah. Like, come on now. We can't play like we haven't been excited about Rashan Gary before. You're just mad that the numbers don't look right on the chart.
Right. Exactly. So I just wanted to point that out. And again, Greg ends up chiming back in. We'll go off this tweet now and get back to the Patreon group. And he was just sharing what he's seen. So this is, like I said, in no way is a knock at him. And this is honestly, when I seen it, I'm like, dang, man, maybe I'm off here. Let me go double check. And that's why I love the Patreon group. We're always sharing information with each other, and we can kind of get this right. But again, that's what Greg had shared there. So we got that. Trevor Anderson said, people might hate the Rodgers talk, but if so, I don't care. LOL. Looking around the league, I think Rodgers to Pittsburgh would be interesting. Defense is great and could be a contender with the quarterback. And we know Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers absolutely adore each other. As soon as he said that, I haven't thought about it all offseason. I immediately thought that might be a fit. What do you guys think about Rodgers to Pittsburgh for 1 year? See if he can get it done.
That would be crazy. If Justin Fields was a backup, you still had Rodgers. It comes full circle to owning Fields, and now he's teaching him how to – that would be crazy.
That would be great. Tim, what do you think? You think there's a chance Rodgers plays, and if he does, he might end up in Pittsburgh, man?
I tell you, I've heard Rodgers to the Vikings talk recently, and I think Rodgers to the Steelers might be more legitimate of a chance. I don't know at this point because the reverence that the two have for each other between Tomlin and Rodgers. That's true. That's well known, and you also look at the fact maybe it makes sense. If Aaron wants to play another year. But then here's the other thing, the Jets just, made a hire they have a new head coach. Let's see what happens as Aaron Glenn, develops his staff over there and what they decide to do. But, there's no guarantee that A, Rodgers plays next year, or B, that he wants to leave the Jets. If he feels like he can win there and they want him there, he's already publicly said he would play there. So I think it's a matter of Aaron making up his mind. But the thought of Rodgers and Tomlin in Pittsburgh should make, the entire AFC kind of do a double take and really take a look,
Yeah. Respect Orange, it says Rodgers Steelers versus Love's Packers for the Super Bowl. Sign me up. How awesome would that be, man? Talking about the stars realigning again, right? J. Cole says, damn, the Packers have beat the Bears so bad the reporters didn't even laugh at that lame-ass joke. So true, man. Ben Johnson's going to have a rough time if he's going to continue to try too hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So no doubt about
Can't be
that.
something or not. They're like you said, they're going to pick up on that. That's easy. I think I'm still talking to my buddies about my high school. You know what I mean? Like, you can still talk about your high school coach that you had if it didn't go well.
Oh, God, bro. Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I had one of the best high school baseball coaches. I mean, he's in the Kentucky High School Hall of Fame, right? The knowledge this man has, and it could still pepper that ball too. It's hilarious. He showed us up in practice one day, man. He got so mad at us. He jumped in that box against our ace. Our infielders were literally turning sideways as the ball was getting shot. It was hilarious, bro. But yeah, everybody's got those stories to tell, no doubt. CJN says in the Patreon group, I believe we talked about a few of these names last offseason prior to the draft, and we did. So this is the image he sent me, and what I did to make things a little bit easier, I'm going to drop this down, and we've actually got a screen grab of that image. And let's see how we did with our draft board here. Gents, I've got the draft board ready to go. Ready to go?
No, I'm not. You're not getting me again. We're not doing it.
If you guys would be ready to take that screenshot down when I tell you to, let's kind of cross-check these and see how we did. Now, listen, this stat isn't everything. It's just rookie solo tackle leaders. But there's a lot of names on this list, like CJM was saying, that was on our vertical board, right, and really high on our board. So Mike Sainristil, right, we talked about him. Go ahead and drop that down for me. Let's go down and find Mike. Let's see, where's he at? I know he's close here. Here we go. So he's our 45th best prospect. I think he was our 6th best corner. So we had him a little bit lower than that top pocket of talent. Pull that back up for me again, that screen grab. Next, you got Javon Bullard, right? Javon Bullard was actually our 2nd best safety right here. He's in the 51 spot. He was our 2nd best safety. So got him, right? Pretty cool to see Bullard on that list.
Absolutely.
3rd is Edgerrin Cooper. He was our 3rd best linebacker. If we go down here a little bit, right here, he's in the 71 spot. So we had him right around where Goody took him in the 2nd round, right? Pretty close on the board. So we nailed that. And then you had Tyler Nubin. You guys remember the conversation? Remember the conversation we had about Tyler Nubin? I was getting kind of raked over the coals over who was it? Cam Kitchens. Remember that? Cam Kitchens.
Don't put that name in my mouth right there.
So Tyler Nubin we had as the best safety on the board. Cooper DeJean, some were considering a safety. We put him on our board as a corner. I just put that S so we know he can play safety. But Tyler Nubin in the 32 spot obviously ended up being a tackling machine there his rookie year. Who else we got there? I think that might be about all we hit on. I don't even know what position.
Overshown?
Yeah. What position did he play? Do you remember, Emilio?
No.
Linebacker, edge. I think he's an edge.
That's where I was going to lean to.
All right.
Terrian Arnold was on our board too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Terrian was.
Yeah. Where's is Terrian coming up here? Yeah. He's
Peyton Wilson.
Yeah. Let's skip over these next two because we won't take the time to try to comb through the board and find them. But Peyton Wilson was actually our 2nd best 2nd best linebacker right here behind Junior Colson and right above our boy. Where's he at? Our linebacker that we took, Edgerrin Cooper. Anyway,
Cedric Gray, you're saying?
No, above Edgerrin Cooper. Edgerrin Cooper was our 4th best linebacker at 71 because Cedric Gray was in there. So Peyton Wilson was the 46th best prospect, right? And he's on this list. So we had him as the 2nd best linebacker, only behind Junior Colson. Now, Junior Colson, I want to say this too, just because these guys are on this list don't mean they're going to be great pros. They may have had a good rookie year. They may fall off from here on out. And people like a Cedric Gray or even a Junior Colson might emerge. Right now, it sounds like Junior Colson either had a lot of injuries he dealt with or he just didn't play well this year. So it is what it is. Next, we had Terrian Arnold, right, cornerback, which, tackle list, you don't want your corners to be known for their tackling ability, right? But still, it's worth mentioning. We had him as the 26th best prospect. So I think he was our second best corner. Is that right, Emilio?
I believe so.
Actually, our fourth best. But we had a cluster of about 6 that are real close to each other. So, and then Drew Phillips is the one here that's really low on our list. Obviously, he's a cornerback out of Kentucky. I think it's Andrew Phillips, if I remember correctly. We had him below the halfway mark. So we kind of missed on him if you were just going off of tackles in that regard. But I thought it was cool as we're putting this draft board together. I know Emilio's been working his tail off on it in the background here. But it's pretty cool to see that we've got this thing zeroed in pretty good. You know what I mean?
I'm excited about this year. It's gonna be sharp. I'm glad we got it cooking early so that we can get to the nitty gritty and start working some numbers off it.
Get ready to go.
It's really cool too because last year I was kind of flying blind, and me being the boomer that I am, I don't know how the hell to work a spreadsheet. I'm just trying to. Emilio came in and was like, Clayton, just move out of the way. I'm going to show you something here real quick. And he put this thing together. It is clean. So we're going to have even more information into that board. We're going to have separate sets of averages so you can kind of see, okay, in real time as a player's drafted during our draft party, we'll be able to cross-check and go, okay, here was his PFF grade from 2 years ago, a year before, last year. Here's his consensus big board immediately following the season, right? Here's his RAS score. We'll know with an earmark of whether they scored 9+, 8+, 7+, or under 7. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff added into the board in real time that we'll be able to – it's going to be a hell of a draft party in Green Bay. I can't wait.
Oh, man. Looking forward to it for sure.
So there you go with that list. Appreciate CJN sharing that. And again, I do feel like we hit on a few of those. Let me make sure we got on everything in the Patreon group real quick. And you can go ahead. Yeah, thank you. Drop that down. All right, let's see here. CJN went on to say could throw Quinyon Mitchell on that list too, who we talked about. I believe Quinyon obviously had a great year. We remember playing against him at the Eagles, and he had a great grade. Quinyon Mitchell was our top cornerback in the draft. No surprise there. Everybody had him as the top corner. It's not like we reinvented the wheel or anything. We actually had Quinyon as our 3, 6, 9, our 10th best prospect on our board. So, and the top corner in the draft. I love looking back on that stuff, though. I think it's kind of cool. And then Greg S. says, damn, I guess ESPN research sucks more than this show. Thanks for pulling it up, Clay. And, of course, I just specified that nothing sucks more than this show, Greg. So that's just that goes. And, again, there's nothing wrong with more information. What I love about NFL Pro over PFF stats and all that is we have no way of cross-checking them. With NFL Pro, you can go straight to the tape, right?
Yeah, man. They're always ready to go,
Exactly right.
Get ready to go.
Coach Johnson. All right. Anything else you guys want to hit on in terms of those Patreon questions? Any thoughts, comments before we move on here?
No, I do like the digging. That's the kind of stuff we need to pull up and, be able to compare, look at it next year kind of thing. Now that it's in there, you got a little history. Let's go back and see where Rashan's at next year, because we know we've been talking about him this offseason. We always get kind of a topic, and I think Rashan's on the list this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Definitely. Yeah, it's going to be fun, man. And listen, Rashan has had a down year. I think it's mostly due to how we called the defense and how they really harnessed that defensive line this season. But he could have played better. There's no two ways about it. The thing that pleasantly surprised me that I haven't noticed about Rashan in the past, he was a great pass rusher, but I felt like he was a little bit of a liability in the run game. How many times did we see him not set the edge or kind of run right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and last season was the opposite.
Yeah.
He was super effective setting the edge, great in the run game. Yeah. Yeah.
It's wild. So you could tell they put an emphasis on it. And then, of course, many people were dogging on Gary. And then, I can't wait to hear what Hafley has to say about Gary sucking this year. And he gets up there and he's actually playing really well. He's doing exactly what we told him to do. He's doing other things in the run game that are less selfish. And he's just making excuses for Gary now. And it's like, the answer is on the tape. Just go watch the tape. Yeah, everything. Watch Gary every snap. And that's what got me so irked halfway through the season was hearing someone on ESPN Milwaukee go, Gary can't even beat a tight end. I watched the snap where a tight end just owned him. And I'm like, I know exactly what snap you're talking about. And he wasn't rushing the quarterback. He literally occupied the tight end, slid in the middle of the field, and was playing like a mid-spy. And
you're one of those tape guys, Clayton.
It's like This dude is on a national radio show spouting off, dogging a dude. And then the second he gets voted to the Pro Bowl, oh my God, you should have. It was hilarious. I was like, I got to go to that show. Clicked on it, watched it. And of course, that dude was like, I just don't see what they get. And of course, Chewy chimes in. And Chewy says, well, I mean, if he's that good in the run game, shouldn't he have more tackles for a loss? No, tackles for a loss isn't indicative of how good you are in the run game. Again, that's a flash play, right? Yep. We're talking about those 3 yards and less, 4 yards and less. You're actually getting the run stop as opposed to let me scream upfield, get in the backfield, get 3 tackles for a loss. Boy, he had an awesome game. Everything that Cam Jordan was talking about last night, right?
And when you don't watch tape, that's what sticks out to you are splash plays and highlight plays and sacks and, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Can't put a teammate grade in stats either. I mean, Rashan is that teammate. Unselfish, will throw it in there kind of thing.
Yeah. Holmes says, Clayton, most can't watch tape, don't get frustrated. Yeah, and that's the thing, Holmes. Like, I understand it, and most people don't want to watch tape. That's okay. But come on, don't jump in my mentions talking about you don't know what you're talking about. Gary's a bum. You know what I mean? Not Holmes. He hasn't done that, obviously, but it's like those are the people we're talking about. It's like,
yeah, it's true because he's right. Like, if you're not a tape person, not everyone can sit down and watch hours of film and, analyze, plays and things like that. I get it. Well, the last thing you should do then is, throw your name in the hat and try and talk technique and try and talk tape with people who watch it all the time.
Right.
You just look foolish.
Yeah, definitely. Coach Lynn says the Packers did not do Gary any favors either with the D-line coach. And again, in Coach Reb's defense too, Coach Lynn, and great coaches will figure it out regardless, but Coach Reb was an outside linebackers coach in the 34 defense, right? And they just made him the defensive line coach. And obviously he couldn't make that adjustment, right? I think that has a little bit to do with it too, Coach, but I'm with you. Get somebody in here who can maximize the talent that you got on that defensive line for sure. But again, don't get too crazy, man. If it comes down to the same thing it did this year and you got, hey, you can have a top 5 run defense, but you got to sacrifice a little bit of the pass rush, sign me up, man. Because you're going to make teams – you're going to force them to make plays down the field, right?
Well, because eventually you're going to get into those pass rush scenarios. So we just weren't able to get ourselves, into those third and longs. We were in, third and shorts a lot, but are you not happy with the defensive performance this year? I mean, is top 10, not good enough? I'm not. That's where it's like we always have to chase numbers. We had to double-digit wins. Our defense is, top 10. That's big. Those are big things.
Yeah, definitely. 2-0 for this says people don't realize how limited their, quote, tape is when they watch the game when it aired, and that's it. I'm telling you, man, we get on our post-game show, and I say it every time. People ask me questions. I don't know. I'll have to watch it again. Because in the heat of the moment, I'm charting the game. I can't watch specifically what's their assignment, all that. It happens.
The same thing that a coach is going to say post-game, right?
Right.
And hey, I got to watch the tape, appreciate the question, but let me take another look,
Yeah. And those fans will hear him say that and go, I'm so sick of Matt LaFleur saying he's got to watch the tape. Everybody's seen what happened. You're missing it, man. I'm telling you, you're missing it. Like it's a lot more to it than, I know you caught those 4 snaps after you went and got you a cold beer and some pretzels, but it's a lot more to it. It really is. I know this because when I sit down and watch a game on the TV copy, I can't see hardly anything.
Yep.
And I'm intentionally trying to take my eye off the ball, and I still miss so much. I really do.
And then when you're in the stands, it's a whole different experience, right? Because it's even more difficult.
Right.
I find myself watching games back 2, 3, and 4 times more than normal when I'm there, because even just watching it on TV, you get a little bit more perspective. But when you're there in the stands, man, it's really hard to just follow play for play. Yeah,
no shot.
Yeah, and I always try to get my seats up high. Like when we went to Tennessee this year and watched them play the Titans, what did we do? We went caddy corner in the corner of the end zone, up high, as close to what you could kind of see the coordinator's view. When I go to Lambeau, I always sit. My section is 620. And you know where the Lombardi clock is? You go in that entrance, take the elevator up. We're there in the box, front row. And that way it's like, okay, bird's eye view. And I still can't tell everything that's going on. Right. Most of the time I'm going, man, did you get his number? Because I'm half blind with my old age, right? She's over there trying to help her brother out. Josh Martin with the super chat says, fans pre-2024, we're getting gashed through the run. Stop the run. Fans 2024. Why are we focusing on stopping the run? No pressure. Run D is key to win. It's so true, man. It's the same way with the whole run the ball, and then when you stop,
Remember I said that? I was like, don't complain when we start stopping the run, and then the pass rush kind of suffers a little bit.
Yep.
And here we are. You know, it's
you've
wild.
got to give something up. You've got to. You can't just stop everything. And every game, there's a different game plan. I know it goes without saying, but it's so true, man. It matters. It really does. Greg Rice says, do you watch each player on each snap? Here's how I do it, Greg. I don't have time to watch every single player. Like when I go back and watch the tape, my goal is to watch every snap at least 3 times. That's every snap, not every player snap, but every snap 3 times. Okay. And typically what I'll do is watch the fronts, watch the mids, and then watch the secondary. That's how I like to watch the tape when I go through in my saturation. This year, most of the time, I feel comfortable saying all but maybe 2 games where we were traveling back and forth. I watched every snap 5 times. So that gives you a little bit more. This guy had a big game. Let's key in on him. This guy had a bad game. Let's watch him type thing. But, yeah, I can't watch every player on every snap. But the beautiful thing is with NFL Pro now, you can go back and do that. If you got like someone like Gary who's in question, right, Emilio, like you can actually go and look at all of his snaps now. So
absolutely. You know, you can choose and not only just like, hey, look at his 29 stops. Let's go look at him on 3rd down and, you know, 3rd and long. What's he doing? Is he sacrificing? Is he stunning? Is he playing the edge? Is he holding contain? All those things you can look at. But that's it. You can get yourself down a rabbit hole. That's why no one does it. I mean, you sit there and watch tape on one player for 2 hours. You know, so it's like you can. There's only so much you can do, but yeah, you're going to go out there and just say things on a limb. That's tough.
Yeah, definitely. Respect Orange says, I was one of the doubters of the run D at the beginning of the season, and Tim said it was going to be there. I was a doubter too, because I was listening to sports media talking about, man, this is going to be an aggressive one gap. And I'm going, they played a lot of one gap last year. They don't understand that. That's okay. Yep. And sure enough, man, you look up and they played it really conservative and stopped the run. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, we talked a lot about that when Hafley got to town, right? And we thought, oh, here comes the press man. We're going to see a lot of man. Yep. And we kind of had different feelings that he was going to, definitely mix in man. We saw some man looks this year, a lot, but predominantly zone man. And that's why I think we were better in the run. That and switching to the 43 helps against the run,
And he wasn't even able to run the defense he really even wanted, right? I mean, he was stuck in kind of cover 2 a little bit and, cover 6 floating around through there. We really want to be 3 high, a lot more cover 3, cover 1, but he was able to make it work. Our corners started locking it down at the end of the year. You're going to need a defense to win a championship. They were heading that way. I mean, I'm not mad at where the defense was heading after a full season.
Yeah. Jay Cole in the chat. Take a look at Wyatt Malum out of West Virginia. I'm watching film right now on him. Jay, I don't know if you're in our Patreon group. If you are, do me a favor and go in the specific chat that's for the prospects and put him down. Okay, what we got everybody doing in the Patreon group is listing their favorite prospects as well as their favorite free agents. And we're going to start incorporating that into the show, just like we do the questions for the show. We'll go over there, hit on it, see where they're at on the consensus big board, all that good stuff. So if you guys want to join the Patreon group, scan the QR code in the upper right that'll send you to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. We got one of 3 tiers you can sign up for. The cheapest tier, like $2, will get you access to all the chats and also get you entered into giveaways, just a way for us to give back to those who are supporting the channel. We're going to be doing a giveaway coming up this week, an autographed Dorsey Levens jersey. We've got another white Dorsey Levens jersey, the away jersey. We're going to it's autographed, got the certificate of authenticity, all that good stuff. So make sure that you are in that group or you're a member on YouTube. I always specify it's better to be in the Patreon group because I feel like you're getting more for that membership, right? You got access to the chats, the giveaways. You can also next year you can enter into our fantasy league, which that had payouts. Just a lot of cool stuff going on there that we're doing as a community. The community's coming together really nice, man. It's awesome. So we'll definitely make sure we check out Wyatt there. Though.
He's a pure left tackle, I believe. Might be able to kick inside. I'm not sure, but left tackle, I think.
Pure left. You got it, Tim. Putting it on the board.
Yep.
There you go. All right. Let's do this as we get ready to wrap up. We'll go rapid fire here. And I want to hit on, let's see here. I want to hit on the defensive PFF grades. Amelia, on the morning show, when you were out there working like a dog and me and Tim were warm in our houses talking football, we hit on the PFF grades from this year for the offense. And, kind of the fog of war, you get lost in who played well, who didn't, right? So let's take a look at the defense here as we got all the season grades in. Number one on defense with an 85.7, Edgerrin Cooper. That is wild. Only 549 snaps, but still 85.7. Guys, he had a higher PFF grade than Xavier McKinney, who had an 84.7. That really surprised me when you finally look at the final grades. Run defense grade 77.4, tackle grade only a 57.2, pass rush 90, coverage grade 77.3. Let's freaking go, boys. I'm telling you, we got our mock of the future. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, and he can do it all. And the fact that he showed it, I mean, yeah, it's only 600 snaps, but dude produced. And I'm glad that like we talked about, I'm glad we scaled him into it. And the fact that he ended up at the top of the board by the end of the year is unreal as a rookie.
Yeah,
definitely.
I love it. Frosty, baby. Let's go.
Second on the list, Xavier McKinney with 1,125 snaps, had an 84.7 grade. His coverage grade, 90.2. Listen, I'm telling you, I've said it all year. Joe Barry's pissed off. He's like, you mean to tell me you gave me Jonathan Owens and Darnell Savage, and the first year I'm gone, you put Xavier McKinney and Evan Williams in that secondary? You know
ready to go.
And he did go, didn't he? He went right down to Miami. So another one here, boys, Zane Anderson. And here's a guy who's going to be a free agent, right?
Here's a guy.
Perfect drop. Yeah. Only 122 snaps, but guys, 80.8. Am I wrong for thinking be a little bit aggressive and try to get Zane back in here?